Are we live? I will hold on to my horses for jumping into conclusion. I am live on Facebook. No, YouTube. I still have sleepy hair. Okay. I may sound a little bit off because I was sleepy. I was sleepy very early in the morning. Then late in the night, I slept, and then I woke up, and then I slept again, and then I woke up, and then I slept again. This is going on for I don't know. It's like somebody left a spell on me. Sleep, man, sleep. All those witches putting spells on me. I'm just kidding. If that is the way, then let a lot of spells will be following me around. I believe those other things I'm going to leave it as is. I was thinking of doing the same show on Ivy Law. Maybe I should just log in there and try. I haven't tried that. This split screen. Too many. I have tried two, but I haven't tried three. Until those guys are fully ready, let me go. This. I'm going to talk, many things before I come into this, but I'm not going to spend too much time on anything. Oh yeah, there are plenty of viewers there. Not viewers, I mean plenty of shows there, rather than that time. When I was running it, run Adobe Splash. Uh, okay, I love that. Now I have a blank screen. Is there anything happening there, or this is all? Oh,
What? We need to be live. Yeah. There you go. Live now to my show. You may welcome.
so it is automatically playing some of the videos I posted there earlier. So that's what you heard. Let's see. Review setup camera off here. Okay, yeah, that's what I should do. And mine. Can I mean, did I get lost there or? uh, I think there are things. Yeah, this is not live. So let's see. A high quality broadband. Show broadcast. I subscribed. Show started. Okay. Okay, I'm going to leave that thing. All these other chats outside of me. Just there. So if somebody comes there, I may have to parallelly do this so that almost all of those guys and the people who may come on YouTube, they can actually come into. I said gum. Okay, they can actually come to ivlog.tv/user slash lonely poet. I may leave a link there so that they can show up there. I don't know whether I can leave a link on the live show while doing a live show on YouTube. Or I mean, they already know that. Um, so yeah, this is what my buttons. See, now I have to open my button. That's what people are saying. Okay. See, this shirt is very loose. Okay, this shirt was brought, when I was much more heavier. Now I become much more lighter, so much more thinner, I should say. So not thin and thin. No, I'm thin. You understand? See, I think I should put my hand on around me. Thin. I was like this. Then I came to this. Now you know. See, my shoulder and all is like much more drooping all the way down. So yeah, this is that's why I put the button on because this thing. Look at that guy. Look at that guy sitting there. He can actually do a lot of weird things. It's cold. I mean, it is cold like a winter right now. If there is a possibility, I will wear a jacket. So let me see all these things. Yeah, so we are all good. I think three of them are working. I don't know if it crashes. That's what I want to see. If it crashed on YouTube or if it crashed on the third one. Now I have three browsers and I'm broadcasting on three different places. Tell me about technology. Okay, I like this. Okay. So where are we? I'm actually trying to put a poem. A poem I call myself. This poem is called. Uh, hmm. Let me start talking about it. Okay. Let's get into it. An episode of happiness. Uh, I'm actually having it in a corner. So. Uh, Pretty much what I'm going to actually say is I'm not paying attention to any of the chats because if you want me to really talk to the chat, then that is a whole different show. Then there should not be any poetry because there are a lot of things. All this afternoon I was just looking at these different chats and other things. Because I said afternoon, I came here only like about 3 o'clock. In between, I was up and then sleeping and then up and sleeping, and it was going on. So I'm not paying attention to that. Said all that, I am actually at this point. This whole process of some people ask me the question. Yesterday I talked about some process of writing poetry and how I reached that point. So how I reached the point of taking an idea and then go through multiple phases or multiple processes, multi-step processes, and come out to a point where I can write a full idea or the whole idea completed. Um, uh, you see, I'm losing my attention here again. You see, I can see the chat and I can see, oh, come on, man, talk to us. No, what are they saying? Rick. I think Rick, you are the first time you are moderating when I'm doing a show. That's interesting. Package? What package? You guys are sending me Corona package or something? I don't have a package. I didn't receive any package. Okay. Oh my God. People are sending me gifts right now. Okay, send me gifts. I can take. Maybe I'll put a link on all my videos out there in my recording in YouTube. Of my PayPal. You can donate money. I'll take money. It's not a joke. Okay, money is not a joke. Money never is a joke. With jokes you can make money, but money is never a joke. You don't make fun of money because reason why I'm telling you. Whoever made fun of money, whoever discarded money, they lose the value from within. Once you lose the value from within, then you lose the value of money. So that's a problem. When people make fun of money, this is like I actually tell. I'm going to give an example. Not going to get lost in there. A simple example. Many people who actually, when they are totally unsure of their own themselves, unsure of their own body, they actually start doing things with the body. And that's what I told my nephew a couple of days, some days back. I actually talked about it, and then halfway through, I stopped and went into a different subject. I told my nephew when he pierced his nose, and I told him, see, many people who does that in India, people does that for a religious reason. For many women, actually does that. It signifies they are married, and if it is, I think there is. I'm not going to actually even speculate on that, but there are sides. If it is like on the left side, it is a married woman. If it is on the right side, it is not a really proper woman. And on another side is when people does that these days, they have other piercings. They actually do that. They have piercings all over eye and nose and hair. I have seen many different kinds of piercings for people. But the real valid point is, okay, where are we with the when I actually say when people are really not sure about things, like they get. Am I supposed to go somewhere? I'm going to turn this phone away and put it there. Now I think I'm going to lose the entire train of thoughts. Okay, I think I already did. So now the main point I'm saying is okay. Um, I'm going to leave all that behind because it doesn't. It is not. This is a subject that I may have to talk very deep. That may be a full show of itself. I'm going to leave it at that because if you do that, I mean, if you don't value yourself, I'm going to briefly say this. If you don't value yourself, then what you are going to do is you are going to hurt yourself. You understand? So when you lose that value from within, of yourself, then that's when you actually go and say, "Oh yeah, I have money. I don't really like money. I'm going to spend it all." Or it's because money is something people should not be wishing for. Money is or positions or fame or fortune. We say that all the time, but still we all work for money. Without money, if I go to the city hall today I'm supposed to pay the this thing, electric bill. So that's one of the things that came up. I'm supposed to pay the electric bill. See that electric bill. If I'm going to actually go and write a poetry, a bunch of lines of poetry, and give it to the office and say, okay, yeah, here, take this. Instead of this electric bill, are they going to accept that? You go to a grocery store, you'll write a quartet and give it to them. Do you think that I'm going to get any food? No. So for money, you need money, and there is no substitute for that. So that put value to something. So at the same time, you have to put value to yourself. Like I said, if you don't value yourself, you start piercing your, nose and your ears and put tattoos on your body and all the other things. Tattoo is not exactly like piercing, but yeah, some people actually define it. But piercings is nothing but when you are unsure about things. So I will have a talk when somebody all of a sudden decides, I'm going to get a piercing on my body. Women always pierce their ears. That's a different ballgame. I'm not going to argue about that. But when you actually have unusual places where you go and get a piercing, that is like you want to show something, or you are unsure about it, or in another way, you dislike your body. Was there something that happened to you to make you feel disliked on your body? Because um, this is a little controversial subject. I'm not 100% sure about this. Somewhere I have read somewhere that when a rape victim, people who get raped or people who get abused sexually, like when I said that I'm going to differentiate between rape and abuse. Okay, I may have to be clear on that. The rape is somebody who forcefully does something violently to a woman and just go away, and that person is gone. And abuse is a systematic, way of abusing somebody. Say you give somebody a romantic promise and take that person and use them sexually for a longer period of time, and eventually it is only that sex part that that remains, and there is no love between them. All the love was just an act, and then that person leaves. So it becomes an abuse rather than a rape, because it is consensual. So these two are different. When those kind of people, both those cases, there are people who do this kind of piercings, so they have actually noticed that. Because where I read was, okay, an email I received from a psychologist once suggested that, okay, yeah, this is a possibility of this happening. I mean, this body piercings and, to a great extent, some of the tattoos, they actually, people get tattoos all the time these days. So I may not 100% agree on the tattoo part of things, but there may be some of the instances they will only get a tattoo instead of getting a piercing or something like that. So, but the real point is when you lose your value, then you do all these kind of weird things to your body. Many people actually become very abusive to their own body in, say, substance abuse. Some of the people actually go in an entirely different direction. Exercise. And if you I know this is I'm going to get a lot of slack on this, and people are going to actually call me a lot of weird names about this. The reason why I'm saying this is exercise. Many people do exercise, and then it becomes an abuse of your body because no matter how much you do this, because it's some sort of a brain chemical that happens in your brain, and it becomes because this substance abuse and everything is the same thing that get activated. Then you get addicted to it. Then it becomes an abuse to your body. People continually do exercises. I have seen people doing like morning they actually go for an hour of walk, and then in the afternoon they will actually go and take a bike and do another maybe an hour of biking. In the evening they go to the gym and do another 2 hours of gym workout. I mean cardio exercises or whatever you call it. They do all that. I don't do any of these things, because I look like a guy who does all this. I only do walking. I walk. No, that's it. And for walking, I don't even need to go out on a trail or anything like that. I can just walk inside my house. Or if nothing works, I will stand in front of a TV, watching TV, and I will. It's like a stand and walk. I do that. So this is like I said. It will become an abuse of yourself. Do not do that. Everybody values money, so that's something which we need to talk because many people actually say, oh, people actually think about money, people actually feel about money, all these weird things about money. Let me go to that. I may have to respond a little bit on here and there. uh, what are they saying, Rick? Okay. Well, I can actually oh, I can do co-hosting on Ivy Log, but I think I need to be a premium member there. I might have to pay like about $70 a year to actually get that facility. Then I can actually have multiple people coming into my chat. Yes. We can take this whole thing into a different show altogether, and I will sit and answer all of your questions. We don't need a recording for that. I can do a live show, completely exclusive live show instead of a recorded show on Facebook because we are already hitting about 17 minutes on Facebook. I mean on YouTube, recording. I need to, maybe I should do a crowdfunding for that because there's a crowdfunding for everything. See, I do not have a metal bottle, and this is, I totally agree with you. Right now, this is all I have, they're plastic bottle. That's all I have. And I don't want to give advertisement to anybody. A plastic bottle is only I have. I buy these bottles, everything. But I recycle this, very, very carefully. I recycle this put into a separate bin and, throw it away. But still, it is plastic bottle. I'm using plastic. And I sincerely apologize to all the plastic lovers. I'm a person who's not a plastic lover, or I mean plastic haters. I'm not a plastic lover myself. I don't like plastic, but at this point, I do not have a bottle where I can use. So maybe you can include that in the package. You are saying you are going to send me a package. Oh yeah, put this one. Metal bottle or something like that and send it to me. I will use that. So that's the thing. I don't know whatever is there in their package. As long as the package doesn't include any sex materials. Like I don't want to really go. There are kids in there so. But if there are unusual materials they wanted me to use live on camera, no, I'm not going to do that. I will actually burn it. What I will do? I'll put it on there, and I will take my 38 special and shoot it. I'll make that a live show. so So said all that, there are situations when people get used and abused. That's what we were actually talking about. Money is a factor people work for. I work for money, you work for money, everybody works for money. Some people doesn't get any. You see, I would really in 2000, I think 2018. Yeah, 2018. If you look at my blog, or in 2018, I was saying I'm trying to figure out a way where I can live without working. that is one of the things I said at that time. It's not easy. I mean, even if, say, for example, you have a monthly income, a steady income of, say, $5,000 or $10,000 a monthly income, and you pay taxes and you do other things. You need to buy insurance and other things. You have all that. Okay, you have all that. Still, if you don't have work, if you cannot even work from home, then you are going to end up in a serious situation where you wake up in the morning. First of all, you won't wake up in the morning. Today morning I woke up like what? 4:20. I woke up at that time. Then I went back to sleep a little. Then that's why I said, okay, I was just falling asleep, and in between I fell asleep again. But when you do that, it will become a problem for you. You are going to get bored of yourself, and that's the problem. You see, you are not interacting with a group of people that are not your friends. You see, the people whom you work with, they are not your friends. They are your colleagues. You need to be, you have that differentiation. There are people whom you become friendly at work, but if you do that, if you become too friendly and attached to your colleagues, then the problem is, and I have to take my leg. Then the problem is, if you do that, you will lose some sort of your integrity. That's at work, because in work you always make sure people you work for are broken into pieces. I mean, they are at an arm's length. So that's what I meant by broken into pieces. You keep them at a distance, and when you do that, that will help you get better. Because if you get too close to people at work, then you will not be able to find proper criticism from people at work. That will improve your work. You will not be able to properly criticize a person at work, which will improve their work and the total performance of the team. Usually every job requires a team effort. um, so as that is not possible, you are going to face a lot of issues. Don't do that. That's why I'm going to give myself as an example. Long time back in 1999 January, I went to Indianapolis. Okay, I went to Indianapolis to do a project for a company called Keen, and I was living there. Southport or South Point or something like that. That's the name of the place. I was living in a fantastic apartment, everything provided by the company, and I met this woman at work. Um, we kind of hit off a little good in the beginning, then it kind of went south. I got south, so the problem, that's not just a problem. It affected my work completely. People stopped trusting me at work. When I go to an office, my own people, that was a very main problem I faced. After coming from all that confusion and chaos, I left all that. We had serious legal issues and other thing. We came back. I came back to Milwaukee, and I went to do another project. The problem was people stopped trusting me. When I actually was talking to a lady, the rest of the colleagues who know about this history of mine, they was like, you should be careful when you deal with women at work. And I was like, man, I have to deal with women at work. Where are we now? Are we in Saudi Arabia or something like that, where I cannot deal with, I cannot even talk to a woman? I was like, I have to. Well, you have a history. I said, what the history, man? I'm very honest. This is exactly what I told, in the person. I said, fuck the history. I said, I had a problem. I fell in a relationship, I cannot call it a love. I fell in love with her. It was not even properly love. It was not even a proper relationship. I said, okay, there was a, what do you call in these days, fling between me and a lady, and it all went bad, so there you go. So I was like, that's the only thing. I moved on. You guys are stuck in there. I moved on from that. Woo, done. Even though, I didn't really personally, when you're speaking, there was some bad feeling, bad blood between inside of me that I kept for a while. But, it was over. So the problem is that, you will lose the trust of your own colleagues, who don't know you clearly. But those who know me very clearly, they know, oh, okay, yeah, he's a clean guy. This is not his fault, you know. So that's there. So make sure that even if you are working, and many of you guys, you people are very young. Um, make sure that you don't fall in love at work. Okay. The last example was, and I'm going to say, touch something. Say, I was working at Boston store. Then I know there is this connection I'm feeling towards a person, and it is improving and improving and improving. That's what I felt. I mean, maybe that person didn't feel anything at that time. Um, so there came to a point, where I know that this connection is getting saturated. That means I cannot do anything because I'm at work, because this is my policy. I don't date people at work. So I need to get out of there. And then there was this point at which everything was getting triggered. And that means I had a spontaneous combustion. And a couple of colleagues, I called them, I don't want to deal with you fucking assholes, and I walked, I didn't really walk out. I was just standing there. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Because this is going to be a bad situation. This is going to create a bad situation if I stay. If I don't stay, then it is going to, what will it happen? Okay, I said, maybe right now I'm pretty sure things are going to become bad if I stay. If I leave, then it will not become bad. It can get better. I left. Do you understand? So the connection need to really properly come back together. I left. That's what I would do. I will leave. Instead of staying there and trying to bind things together. That's what everybody should do. If you feel in love with a person, there's a genuine reason. People genuinely fall in love when they come, in close quarters. Say for example, you are sitting right beside the cube of a person. That person, you fall in love with that person. Okay, you are in love with that person, but you understand what you should do? Leave the job. One of you should just leave the job. One of you should just leave the job, find another job, then so that this work will not become a friction. That's my point. The same way, without working, you cannot earn. I'm actually dragging this subject to almost 27 minutes right now. And the poem got nothing to do with this. Let me put my leg out. If you see me fully sitting there, it will be very bad because I have a big belly and I'm cross-legged. So at this point, what we should all do is, okay, we should direct ourselves into how can we do better tomorrow, instead of worrying about what we earned, what we even earned yesterday. How can we do tomorrow? And when I say tomorrow, I'm not talking about the rest of the eternity. No, I'm not talking about that. Tomorrow, 24 hours from now, where am I going to be? You can at least figure that out. Okay, don't plan anything beyond. If you try to plan, then you are going to actually have to have resources coming in much more than you need. I use the wrong word. Much more than you need. That's a key word. Because take only that and then work through that. Then it will be easier to plan, easier to actually put things together, and each and everything is a workable unit. That's where your life should be. Because if you try to hold on to that, this is something which I told, there was a guy called Marcus who worked with me, because Marcus, when he came to Boston store, I was actually the person, because the person in charge of where I was, the area I was working, took a break because she had some knee surgery, and Marcus was coming in at that time. And I told him, Marcus, here is a simple situation. He had worked before, in other places, but when I understood it, he's unsure about everything. I said, I want you to, not because of anything, I want you to do one thing to me, okay? At least towards me. Be very honest. I said, I will not deal with people who lie to me. I don't really lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be very blunt and open right on your face. But be very honest with me. And the second thing you should learn is all these things which we actually put it, you make sure you take and do things in a workable unit. That means, okay, if you have 50 shirts to fold, you take 10 at a time and then do another job, take a break, or don't take a full break, Even if you can't take a break, you go and fold maybe 10 pans. Then you go and fold, or put the tie rack together, things like that. I said, don't do the same job, so that means you're breaking your work in pieces. If there's a major work need to be done, let's break it up in pieces so that it will be possible in a psychological way to do this. And he was an amazing guy. He listened to me very, very, very adamantly, keenly, fully. He became very successful. And that helped a lot. I mean, that's what you should do in every environment. So that's my point. That's the way I wrote this poem. I'm going to now I think everybody understood what exactly I'm trying to say here. Uh, the poem, I'm going to come to that, I'm going to take into that. Um, this is what I wrote. Ever felt the dueling thoughts in a scattered brain? Because there are multiple things going on. You have your own conscience that is working, and then you have a problem with many other things on the daily material life of yours. And all these things are going to come right in front of you when you are taking something very emotional and trying to put it together. So that's where I'm coming to. And that's what happened to me. I wrote some lines that didn't make much sense. And then, luckily, I wrote leaving a couple of empty spaces. So I wrote something, then I went and I said, okay, this is not, going to take me further. So, because I need something to go before. So this is where I said, okay, let me break this idea into pieces so that the first part can be fixed, and then the next, and then the next, and the next. You go like that from top to bottom. Sometimes you may not even get to the bottom. Halfway through, you will understand, okay, you may have to go back. So this is where I think when thinking about, of course, Little Boss, and then I actually came out and said, okay, let me say this. There was some part of things that are getting hidden. There is something I don't know, and there is something about me she don't know. So ultimately, because if you don't know about a person or what that person is going to do, you are going to come to a situation, I'm seeing, one second. You are going to come to a situation where you will end up with some sort of fear. Okay? I'm going to quickly check on all that and then we'll come back. Yeah. There is a message there. Oh, yeah. I'll check that. So where was I? Okay. So when you end up with a fear, you have deep rooted feelings based on your past experiences. So when you see the same kind of pattern coming into you, then what you do, you take a step back. The same thing. Everybody went backwards. When, like I said, when I was sitting in a mall food court, and I was trying to talk to somebody and ask that person, come on, sit down in front of me so that we can talk through something. That didn't happen. And that person is holding a Tupperware and he started yelling at me, So I have a fear. About my security. And I was like, I am concerned about my security now. Because that's what exactly I meant, because I may get beaten there. So I don't want that to happen. I don't want anybody to be feeling bad. Then I understood. Is there anything I didn't really, say to her? Is there anything I missed saying to her? Is there anything we missed? Is there anything that happened that concerned her so badly, so that she is willing to even go to an extent of absolute outburst of anger, at me? What really went wrong? So I was actually trying to backtrack, and there's nothing I can see. Still, then the only thing that can come back to us is, okay, something she is hiding. That is a possibility. Say, if you are not hiding anything and she's still worried about something, that means it should be from her side. She is hiding something. So that's what I was actually going into this, same way I'm saying. Then came the shadowless timeline. Then I got this line about the shadowless time. You see, time is something which has no shadow, because time is something which you don't see substantially. You see, there is nothing to substantiate when it comes to time. unless there is a amount of space, through which you say you can go from here to here. That then there is a time. You will see, you will understand and feel the time at that time. But if you became constant, you sit in one point at a given point. That means you go into outer space, and there is a point at which nothing is moving, and you are constantly in a fix. That means this time, because there is a space around you, but that time you are talking about doesn't matter to you, even though, because it's relative. Because if you don't move in that space, there is nothing that makes sense in time. Because this is then it will become a paradox. Because if you come, because you, as long as you are sitting on top of Earth, which is moving pretty fast, and the entire solar system is moving with sun and everything is moving in one way, you are the time and space matters to you. But if you go to a point where you don't have to move at all, then your problem is, it is the time, the factor of time becomes irrelevant for you. Even though it exists, it becomes irrelevant for you. That kind of a thing, what I was thinking at that time, was like, then time is a shadowless thing. It doesn't have anything to actually show here. See, if you don't have any material part to it, you will become shadowless. That's what I was saying. Then the shadowless time came and left the whole thing around there and wrote a whole new paragraph. That's why when that came out, I understood that, okay, I may have to go in a different direction. Here, once more, if you break your idea into pieces, if you break your job part into multiple pieces, it will become easier for you to work through it. That is the exact point I was saying, about 35 minutes, so that you will understand it better. Because you need to take the work. You see, I wrote like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. Then I understood, okay, this paragraph is not going to go anywhere. Then I have to go and break this further in such a way that I can go further. You can proceed with much ease. Like I said to Marcus, Marcus, fold your shirts, and piece by piece, so fold 10 of them, then move to pants, and then move to ties, and then move to t-shirts. You do all that, when you break this, you will get a momentum. That is the idea. You move through that, instead of become monotonous. So that's the idea. So we are almost coming towards the end of it. We are only at 37 minutes, man. It still doesn't make it. You see, I'm going too fast. I thought I was going too fast. No, I'm only at 37 minutes now. So here's the thing. I know deep inside, time brings me closer to Little Boss than anything else. I wrote the first quartet last, and then went from there backwards. So that's why I'm saying, when you break things up, then it doesn't matter whether you are going from top to bottom or bottom to up, or even go from middle to up down or something like that. So this is a concept which I learned when during programming. When you do computer programming, this is what you are going to basically get. Because as when I was doing the programming, you get an analyst report, or an analyst will write requirements and give it to you. So then you take this requirement and then you look at it and say, okay, now I have to go from back to front, or top to bottom, which way I'm going to go. So what I will definitely do is I break this part into, say, some of the work was really extensive. So break it. The fundamental rule is an 80-hour rule. That means what can you achieve in 80 hours? So that is my first goal. I will write down that in 80 hours I can get this thing done. That is for structured programming, which is a waterfall style. In agile methodology, it will become a completely different thing. But those are all, these words are maybe completely new to many people, but those are the things I work with daily. Agile is a different methodology, which we use, where we don't actually employ these kind of incredible techniques. Now, before we jump into any of those things, let me go and do a quick review of this message. I don't know. I mean, why would anybody do that? I mean, that's an interesting situation. I mean, I may have to come back and, let me ask you. Let me get into the chat. Okay, I think I was very clear at that time. Do not send me any tarot cards, because I don't know anything about tarot, and I do not have the time to go and sit and learn about tarot. I mean, you should be very careful, when you do things like this, because I have no intention of doing any tarot shows in, on, on that site or Facebook or, anything like, because the next step is to add Facebook, because Facebook is going to take a lot more, strain on the memory. I might have to bring it. And how am I supposed to show any tarot? You have no idea what is here. And I do not have any space. There are books, there are other things, CDs and things, sitting, dusting, and I cannot even move. If I take something, there are things falling apart. So I don't know where will I even show the tarot. Even if I'm going to accept it. I mean, you already sent it. Well, it says they already sent a package of tarot cards. Oh my God. Okay, now that is bizarre. I don't know anything about tarot. We can look at somebody's tarot reading and, may say opinions about it, make fun of it, that I can do. That is, this is me. Now this is becoming a little more serious, because, to be very honest with you, from this point onwards, do not send things, which I already said that I'm not a tarot reader. I'm not. I may be a little intuitive, when it comes to it. But many of my intuitions, especially towards the little boss and all, didn't really work. I thought he may like me better. But then later, when I really looked into a mirror, I said, okay, who in the right mind will like you, man? I was like, I asked this because I'm a very honest guy. I don't really hide anything. I actually looked at it in the mirror and said, okay, if say little boss is your daughter, do you really, wish your daughter to marry a guy like you? And I was like, okay, maybe not. And I was like, maybe not, maybe not. I really love the girl, and I agree, I totally agree. But still, you may have to understand the reality of things, a big guy, bulky, big belly, and, hairy body, and look like this. Some people like it, some people don't. But getting back to it, please, I thank you. I mean, first of all, let me say I'm not an insincere guy who's thank you very much for sending that. Now that will force me to sit and do some sort of a reading. I may have to go and dig up on my WhatsApp, where my brother sent me a bunch of books on tarot reading, and or I may ask him again, to send it again if I cannot locate it. So some PDFs, old PDFs. I will actually look at it and I will read through it and see, what we can do. We will make an entertainment show. Yeah, buddies or buddies, buddies, girls and thank you very much for sending those things. I'm not going to disappoint you. I'm sorry, if I disappointed you. I'm not going to disappoint you. We will do our own tarot show. Okay, we will do our own tarot show. I will make some arrangements, move these things around, maybe make some space on the table and to do some tarot, and even though it may not really, what in there, words, I can say it may not resonate with any of the people or any of the living people or dead people or, people who are not born yet. It may not, but I will do it, because you guys are sending me free tarots. You should send me the money. I'll take it, donate money to me, I will buy something else, maybe some marbles and play with that, I may be better with that than playing with, trying to do tarot readings, so yeah, that's one of the thing. And okay, now let me get back to the poem. Okay, thank you. Okay, whatever that comes in, I will show you when it comes in. So backward, I love it when I get to the last part of the poem and I know the completion of a poem. It is like you raise a child, and when you see her going into the world all happy and successful. Yeah, so when that's one of the questions, as I saw there. What exactly you mean by that? It is like, when you have a child, even though I never had a child, first of all, let me say that I never had a child, I don't know whether I have children. See, I've been around a bit, so, but, nobody so far came and claimed to me, I am your child or something like that. I've been here in the United States for about what 22 years now. So nobody so far claimed that. So probably I don't know whether things are really even working. So maybe I mean to get that tested out, first. So said all that. I don't know. I mean, when you raise a child, I have seen the best thing I can say is okay. When my sister got married, that was in 1982. I was like what 12 years old at that time, and my sister was getting married. And my mother was the most happiest person about that because she's was a fantastic student, one of the number one student. Her teachers, everybody was there. There was like the whole town was there. The marriage was an unbelievable success. My After the marriage, my sister is leaving home. Then at that time, I saw when I turned around and I looked at my mother, I can see her holding her, sari in her hand and she's crying. And and I was like, I felt very sad too. I mean, because my sister was, kept me like like that little brother, by that older sister. So she patted on my back and she left. And then my mother, my sister's mother-in-law, when they came back, the next day, then the next day I think they came back. It's actually 4 days or something like that after then they were leaving. When they came back and said, okay, she came back with her and said, okay, here, I saw you, crying, to my mother. I overheard that, you crying. And my mother said, okay, I didn't cry because I was sad. I was crying because I was very happy because I saw her as a very, very happy girl today. And, I haven't seen her so happy in any other times, So that's when I had this, it is something that I'm taking from there, which I said here, saying that, okay, when you write a poem, it is like that. You raise a person, raise your child, and when that child becomes happy, even when they leave you, that's going to give you that happy tears in your eyes. That's what exactly I was saying there. So when you raise a child, I may not really 100% understand that. When you raise a child and when you leave that child, then you will understand. And even though I have written poems, the first poem in my, I don't know, where is my book? My book is supposed to be somewhere here. Okay. When I wrote a book in Age of Survival, the very first poem, Heartbeat of a Child, it is the same thing. The same concept is what I'm writing there. When one of the mother from Iowa, she's Kimmy, the mummy, so Kimmy came and told me, and at that time, how did you write what I felt? See, I see like, when, the basic concept of that poem is, when a mother, when a girl becomes a mother and she raises another girl, that means that she raises, and that girl falls in love with a man and they get married and they're leaving. And, the very first moment when that child originated in her womb, there was that heartbeat she felt. And that's what the heartbeat of a child. And when she lives in happiness, that heartbeat becomes an odd beat for her own heart. That's the idea of the poem. So those are the kind of poems I used to write, I still write. And then there was this another poem about a girl, Tears of a Daughter or something like that. I wrote, I think that's the name of the poem. And that poem also was very, very highly resonating with the father and daughter connection, so that also I have written. So yeah, I have written for then another poem on the Father's Day, of course. We discussed about that. Maybe sometimes, sometime I will bring that power, this thing back, that poem back. So we are at 48 minutes. I still haven't posted the poem yet. Let me drink some water. So maybe I should hide and drink. Because of the plastic bottle. People are getting offended by seeing plastic bottle on screen. Oh man, you know what? How weird the world has become. Don't get offended. I don't like plastic bottle either. So maybe tomorrow I will find something, in which I can put my water in. So yeah, I don't want you to feel bad, or I give you that, plastics are bad for you, it's killing, creatures all around the world, all these whales and sharks and other things are eating, plastic bottles, thinking that is something, and and they cannot poop or anything, it all gets stuck in their stomach. There you go. So, what are we saying? What are we saying? Okay, let's come back to it. I think I'm running out of things to write here. I'm honest. I sleep at odd times, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. About 10 or 11 a.m. to 4:30. Then I wake up, do some meditations, prayers, and cook some food, eat, and come to my den. People can see me through my den cam. Okay, I'm reading it through. Den cam. Yesterday, my nieces, kids, and brother were watching me for a while when until I fell asleep on the futon. Yeah, people were watching me sleeping there. My niece's kids. My sister is older than me, so my niece is now 35 years old. Her kids, they were watching. Those girls were watching there. What was that? Um, okay, whatever. Some NFL news. So I was just sleeping there, and people were watching through this camera, and I was like, if you go to lonelypod.com, live and cam, you can watch me 24/7. Well, if I'm here, this camera is on 24/7. I don't need the computer to be on for the camera to work. Many people have seen that camera. So I was just lying there sleeping. So there are times when I actually sleep there, especially during daytime. If I'm sleeping, I sleep there. Or you can see me sleeping sitting. So I'll be like, or like yesterday night, for some part of the time I was like this. I was sitting and putting my head on the wall, and I was just sleeping. So you can see the old face. Like yesterday, that's the time one of my friend actually came and said, "Dude, you really have a big head." And I was like, "Really?" I said, "Okay, when people say you really have a big head, it means okay, you have too much of a big ego." He said, "No, no, 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 that's not what I meant." So that also happened. Yesterday, then I fell asleep in the futon. There are a bunch of crazies out there in Milwaukee who don't care about anything. I don't want to go out there and get some viruses from them. Yeah, at that time, people were, violently protesting with guns and all, coming and protesting for shutting down. Now there's a whole bunch of other protests going on because of all the George Floyd scenario that erupted out there. People are genuinely protesting. These protests are genuine protests. Wow, and I was like, I don't want to go into the politics of things. I was with some of the things I said on Facebook was very strong, and I said, okay, today, some people today there's another situation happened again in Buffalo, in New York. A 75-year-old man was slammed to the ground by police, and he was left there bleeding, and he is seriously injured, and he is in the hospital, and the officers involved were suspended. Hearing the suspension, there's another 57 or 50, yeah, I think 57 officers also, resigned. I said, charge the rest of the 57 people with the same assault charges and put them all in jail so that this will not happen. I mean, that's my stronger view. If you think there is a stronger view, take it. But that's what I will do. If I am the guy who is in charge, I will say arrest all those 57 guys who resigned, arrest them, give them the same charge, put them all in jail for like maybe at least for a year. Then they will all learn, and the rest of the police force will learn that police force is out there to protect and serve people, and there is no second thought about it. Okay, somebody actually told me there was a debate that happened between me and my friend James about it. He said there is a federal judge that actually said police do not have to protect it. I said, okay, then why are we paying? We pay all these people. We pay police. We pay the we are our money is what pays for the legislature and the executive and the judiciary. We pay all of them. Why are we paying them? Taxpayer money is what is used by all these guys, and they are going to sit there and say, we don't have to protect you. It is for the protection of the people. Government is by the people, to the people, for the people. And if government cannot be part of all that, then forget about this government. Get out of there. We will put a government that can do all that for us. That's what people should do. We have a vote, when it comes to. So these judiciary guys who are sitting there and federal judges appointed by some politicians who are sitting there. Right now, what we need to do is, okay, kick all those guys out, including the Supreme Court. Let them get elected. Every 10 years, let them face election. Then they will be held accountable for their actions and words and their opinions. That's what, America should do. Everything should be democratic from ground ground level up, grassroots level, all the way to the top of the government, everyone must be elected. That will actually put accountability. Then these kind of problems will not happen because these kind of weird opinions, people with weird opinions are appointed as, they are not elected, they are appointed. 90% of the people were not liking some of the judges appointed. Then what happened? They still got put in there because they thought they have weird opinions, they are coming in. Okay? And then what happened? They will bring weird things happen. That should not be happening in this country. But at the same time, I'm going to say two sides to this. At the same time, we should have clear checks and balances so that it avoids a dictatorship by majority. That should not be happening either. I don't care about conservatism. I don't care about liberalism. I don't care about communism. I don't care about libertarianism. I don't care about any ism. What I care about is the protection of people. And from my understanding, police force is for protecting and serving people. If they cannot do that duty, resign, go away, we will actually bring people who can do that job effectively. That's what it should do. You know what police means? Do you even know what police means? Polite, obedient, loyal, intelligent, cautious, and efficient. Police. That's what it stands for. If you don't even understand the fundamentals of that, resign and go away, man. Just resign and go away. You should be in jail, not out there. Anger management, man. Anger management. Bring, control me. Control me. So now the rest of the part of this thing is okay. About Little Boss. I mean, Little Boss, wow, you wowed me beyond anything and anyone. What a fantastic blessing you are. You really may not know how wonderful you make me and everyone else feel every time you show your face. This poet will give up a million springs for a smile on that face. I believe I just made you smile. That is an interesting thing I said. This is about a picture she posted on her social media, which I can see, which is a public picture, which is available on public. Seeing that, I wrote that. So that's where it entered. Now we have 3 minutes because the poem is not very big. We are going to actually read the poem. Okay? Fantastic shows, guys. Let me check all the other sites and everything. Quickly, if there are any messages, no more messages. So yeah, you can message me what actually, any tracking numbers or something like that. So I know if you have a tracking number, please message me the tracking number so that I will be here waiting for that package to come because package need to be sanitized properly before I actually even touch it because I wear a rubber gloves and take this whatever it's a package and then I'll clean the entire package with the hand sanitizers and leave it for at least in the sunlight. So I gotta be careful, man. I'm not going to take these things from coming from China or wherever it is. Is it coming from China? I don't know where it is coming from. Wherever this is coming from, I will definitely look at it, and see, what you can do about it. Then in between, I will do some readings on tarot cards. Even though I was not interested in doing it, now as you have said, many of you majority have, I think they said did some crowdfunding and brought it to me. Fantastic, thank you. I will do that. But make sure that if there is a tracking number for this package you're talking about, that will be awesome. That I can do it. I can use that. So let us get to this. Where are we? Here, there you go. Uh, okay. Okay. Let's bring this in, and we are at 59 minutes. I should have actually read it a little before, but there are times when you go a little overboard, and here you go. The poem's name is An Episode of Happiness. The parted days, so much beauty you left, but not the fallen dream fading, and only left an aching heart and eyes with tears filled. In what weird ways I scared the loud panic in sleepless nights. Wait, for me to become a monster and come from under her bed or dark corner of a room. Oh, those thoughts in every waking moment I pray, oh God, give me the ability to induce love for her in her than fear that drains her heart of love. Oh, a touch of air on my neck I felt. Looking up, I felt shadowless time walked, carrying life of many kinds untiringly, and aloud I said, take down the mask and learn about what you hide behind the mask, your love. Conquer the fear, for none of that is real. Conquer me, who on one knee waits. Ah, happiness may be one episode of a drama. Why not? You and I make real that drama of love. Hmm. See, it's. I told you the poem is not a long poem. It's a shorter poem. I read that. I just finished that, and that kind of wraps things up here. We are at 1 hour and 1 minute, and I still don't see the other shows continue here. Until it starts, or we can wrap this. I think I should just wrap it because we are already past the allocated time. Of 1 hour. I don't want to. Yesterday I went, shorter than that. Day before yesterday I went longer than that. So maybe we should wrap it around this 1 hour time. It should become a practice instead of somebody reaching it. But as there is nothing, nobody waiting. So then that's okay. I believe that is okay. I don't want to break any rules. So that's the point. That's the show. That's the and properly to watch this show on Facebook. I'm on YouTube. You may have to wait for like 12 to 15 hours because of the longer duration of the video and things like that. It takes that much time. It takes that much time for YouTube to process. It's not my fault. It is may not be their fault either. That's the technology. They are taking that much time because they may have so many videos to actually process. So it takes that much time for it to really show up on my my your videos, my videos section. But what you should do is, okay, if you can go to lonelypoet.org, I'm going to give you every after every show I will do this. Before I go, before I leave the show, lonelypoet.org, that's where you should go. And then the link for this particular show's link will be posted there. So the latest to post there will be having the link. That may not really. If you come to my YouTube channel, it may not really show up. You have to go there. Then otherwise, you wait for this 15 hours. If you because you may know that the show already happened. Some people already know that it happened. So the link will be posted. That's what the thing. In Ivy Log, when I posted all the links there, the latest ones, not all the latest, but uh, that is one of the complaint I received. It's automatically plays. Now I'm in a little dark here because I don't know how do I actually say do not automatically play. I don't know. So you might want to really, you might want to check with the others and message me. Either you message me or any one of them can message me saying that okay, yeah, this is the way you actually can stop that from automatically playing. When somebody comes into your page, automatically it will start blah blah blah. You can hear my voice. uh, so yeah, said all that. This is it. This is a show. I enjoy doing this. I will enjoy doing this for the rest of my life. In between, I may disappear for some time and come back. We had technical problems. So that is one of the things I may have to say. People, do not waste money on sending me or even, Rachel actually said that in her show. Some people actually send her things. Just because we are very open-minded people. We are very free-minded people. We have our addresses, phone numbers, everything is available. Just because of that, you can take that and use it, to send things. Don't do that. I mean, if you want to, donate something, please, donate it to the group, and because they need money to actually manage all the servers because for an extended amount of time we were not able to do any of these things, even though YouTube linking was the only thing. Then I said, okay, I don't want to do it just on YouTube. I can leave a link from YouTube there, a recording of it. But the show, because of YouTube, I have limitations. I think I made it very clear. YouTube's limitations are, you cannot use any, because right now, do you hear any music being played? I love playing music when I'm actually reciting poetry as well as doing my show. I love doing music. Putting no, not doing music. I mean, I play music, somebody else's, but that will actually become a big copyright violation. That's what I like about Ivy Log. Ivy Log is a much more public site. This one is a very private site. That's one of the problem I have. Ivy Log, I can go and play any music. It is like Block TV. Long time back, I used to do a show starting, say, about 7 o'clock. I will go all night and do a show all the night to 7 o'clock in the morning, playing different kinds of music. And in between, I recite my poetry. I will bring people and ask them to recite poetry. I will go and visit the entire show. I will take and say, okay, all my viewers, okay, let's go to another show. I will unload my show into other thing. Yeah, I had like pretty good followers there. That's where all the followers came from in my Facebook. And others, use others, Den and community and all the other things came out from Zanga. So yeah, I always say that I'm thankful for each and everyone. That's what I truly mean when I repeatedly say that. Like a broken record, I keep on saying that. You know why? Because I love you all. You guys supported people like me who are absolute nobodies. Who are just hanging out here and there doing poetry, writing poetry. Some viewers are there. You guys, the viewers and the people who love that, coming out, and so that it enables everyone to have an opinion, and your words and your thoughts and you are clearly heard. But sometimes some opinions you may not agree, like I said, on Facebook, my from my own very close friend, I know him in flesh and blood. He disagreed on that, about the police thing that's happening. So even though he was not talking about anything racial, I called him neocon and all, in my Facebook. But we are good friends, so we are good. We know each other. So that's about the show. And if I can wrap this up, I'm going to wrap this, and I'm going to, I'll be online for some more time before I head out. And I'm going to return later in the night, because the other show that is coming up is, I've got nothing to do with poetry or anything. I think magic. Buddy, there was a time when I really believed in magic. Do you believe in magic? Yeah, right now I don't know. I look for magic from the eyes of little boys, and I found that magic. But it's not an illusion. It's not a delusion. It is the reality I will take and live with it every moment of the day, every second of the day. In my love, 100% for her. Have a nice day.